Good morning everybody, and welcome back to another Kingdom Divided video. Today we're going to be covering more of the newly released spells, as well as any other content that I missed on my day one video. Now today I'm primarily going to be focusing on the combat aspect of the new spellbook, so we're going to be looking at the new demonbane spells, the death charge spell, the ward of Arceuus, and I'm also going to be trying out the new Ash Sanctifier, which is a new item that was just added in with the update. And today I'm going to try to find practical uses for all of the new pieces of content if possible. I'm going to try out some bossing and some slayer and just anywhere else I think any of these spells might be useful. As always, if you do enjoy the video, always appreciate it if you leave the video a like. Thanks a lot, and let's get started. Now, the first item I want to talk about today is the Ash Sanctifier. Now, this item I think is actually going to be one of the strongest additions from a Kingdom Divided. It will be beneficial to pretty much anyone who uses it. Now, essentially, it is very similar to a bone crusher. However, instead of crushing bones, it will now crush ashes, specifically the new demonic ashes that we looked over yesterday. Now, you can go grab this from Tis, who is located at the Dark Altar, assuming that you have at least the Hard Kebos achievement diary done. Now, similar to the Bone Crusher, if you only have the Hard Diary done, you're only going to get 50% of the experience from each bone. However, once you've done the Elite Diary, you will get 100% or 1-to-1 ratio. And finally here, you do charge it with death runes, which is really easy. One death rune equals 100 charges, which means, well, I now have 100,000 charges just like that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and try out the Ash Sanctifier. Now, I think the Sanctifier is going to be incredibly strong, and that mainly boils down to the locations that you're likely to use the Ash Sanctifier are a lot more common and will provide you with much higher passive prayer experience than the Bone Crusher will. For example, at best, most likely you're going to be burying big bones from the Bone Crusher. Maybe you're doing a Moss Giant task or a Hill Giant task. Or probably one of the strongest locations is when you're killing skeletal monkeys or maniacal monkeys when you're bursting or chinning. However, the Ash Sanctifier, which buries demonic ashes, will work at a variety of different strong slayer spots. For example, right now we're trying to burst abyssal demons. Every abyssal demon I kill, I'm getting 85 prayer experience, which is a lot. Other really strong potential locations would be Necreals. That's going to make that task even better. But they'll also be extremely good at greater demons if you can those. Now, Hellhounds can provide passive experience, or even Bloodveld, all very common and premium slayer tasks. You can see right now I am getting around 35k or 40k prayer experience per hour while barraging abyssal demons. It is a very common way to kill abyssal demons. I am not doing this very well either. So yeah, I think the Ash Sanctifier is incredibly strong. At only a cost of 2 GP per charge, that means the GP to XP for prayer is almost nothing. It's negligible at best. However, with that said, there is a bit of an opportunity cost for sanctifying them. These abyssal ashes that I am sanctifying right now are worth around 3,000 each, so if you pick those up, that would add up to quite a bit of extra money. But yeah, if you don't care, that's like free prayer experience. Now, the next spell I'm going to try out are the demonbane spells. We're going to go with the highest level one, Dark Demonbane. Now, these do a bit more damage than their regular spellbook counterpart, however, they only work against demons. Now, you are able to auto-cast this with a few different weapons. I'm going to be using a Staff of the Dead, and I'm also going to have a Tome of Fire equipped as well. This isn't purely necessary, but it does use a lot of fire runes, and as you can't auto-cast with a Mystic Smokestaff or something like that, I think this is probably a more ideal setup. Now, in my inventory, I also brought the runes to cast Sinister Offering, which is going to give me a bonus amount of prayer experience and some prayer points back as well. The animation is a bit buggy, and I realized after a long time that is because I have animation smoothing on. Okay, so I realized after a while it probably made more sense to bring prayer boosting gear, that way I didn't run out of prayer potions so quickly. Now, Dark Demonbane has a base max hit of 30, however that is increased by magic damage percentage gear. And also a new spell called the Mark of Darkness. Now, if you use the Mark of Darkness on a monster before you start killing it, you'll have an additional 25% damage and accuracy against the monster. Now, I am trying it against abyssal demons, and using it every time on a fairly low health monster, kind of annoying. I'm not sure if that's going to be worth it. However, maybe on some boss monsters, it could be worth it. Maybe the Abyssal Sire, or at least some demon with a higher health could be worth it. However, with that said, for pure magic training, I'm not sure if this is going to be that good, and that is mainly due to the fact that it is handicapped by just being a single target spell. Ancient magics are just so strong because they do have AoE spells that allow you to train very quickly and just do insane amounts of damage. So I think players that are looking to take demonbane spells to bosses and monsters for their combat prowess might be a little disappointed. Now with that said, the demonbane spells do have another main use I could see them for, and this one could actually redefine the meta, and that is for splashing. Now demonbane spells, while they don't provide the highest experience per hour, are fairly cost efficient because they do only work against demons. So if we're just looking purely at the base damage, the inferior demonbane spell will cost you around 44 GP per cast, and will give you 27 experience. Now that is just straight up better than splashing Firebolt, although Chaos Gauntlets can get involved there. Firebolt will give you around 27,000 experience per hour splashing, where the inferior demonbane spell will give you 32,500 for the exact same cost. Now the superior demonbane spell will cost you 1 soul rune or 140 GP, and is fairly similar to splashing Fire Blast. However, once again, superior demonbane is just better. It'll give you around 43,000 experience per hour, but will cost you significantly less at only 140 GP per cast. And finally here we have Dark Demonbane, which is once again very similar to casting the Fire Wave spell. It'll actually give you a slightly better experience rate than splashing Fire Wave, but will cost 280 GP per cast instead of 380, so a notable decrease in cost for actually slightly more experience per hour. So splashing with the Demonbane spells looks like it's going to be incredibly strong. Now as far as monsters that you could splash on easily, Ice Fiends would probably be a fairly strong option, and also Imps. Now the next spell I want to try here are the new resurrection spells that will either give you a zombie, a skeleton, or a ghost. Of course, we're going to be using the highest level one. Now the zombie is melee, the skeleton is ranged, and the ghost is magic, I believe. Now if you're using the higher level resurrection spells, they will have a max hit of 3 and will last for 0.6 seconds for every magic level that you have. So once again, when you are 99 magic, they will last for roughly 1 minute. Which means at lower magic levels I might not consider using it. It would just be a little bit too annoying to have to use it every 30 seconds or so. Now these new resurrected monsters are going to be fairly strong wherever you can use the Arceuus spellbook. There's not going to be a reason really not to use them, except for the fact that it's a bit more click intensive, and to be able to cast them you do need to bring the Book of the Dead and at least have it in your inventory. Now one thing I have noticed is the zombie definitely seems to be the worst one, and that's because it is the only one that attacks in a melee attack range, which means it does sometimes have to run over, which does greatly reduce its DPS, so in general I'd probably try using the skeleton or the mage wherever it's possible. I mean, their DPS is not massive, however they are out for a minute once you have 99 magic, and the damage they do in that time will add up. So after training with the Demonbane spells for a while, I was averaging around 90k experience per hour in magic, and around 35k per hour in prayer, assuming that you are using the demonic offering. Now the next spell I'm going to try using here is Death Charge. Now essentially the way this works is whenever you kill a monster, you will regain 15% special attack energy. However, there is one restriction, and that is that you can only use it once every minute. So every minute you could theoretically get back an extra 15% special attack energy. I predict this is going to be extremely good at bosses like Cerberus. Honestly, this entire spellbook looks like it was kind of designed to make Cerberus more efficient. So you know what, let's just maybe go ahead and try to get a Cerberus task. I'm really excited to try it there, and we have quite a bit of Slayer points. Oh Vanica, you beautiful, beautiful man. That was literally my first try. Thank you so much, sir. Now this is pretty well my regular setup, however this time we're going to be bringing spells to cast Demonic Offering. I'm going to start off with that, and then I'll eventually layer on more of the Arceuus spells as I get a bit more comfortable with using them. Now Cerberus is one of the few bosses to drop Infernal Ashes, so every 3 kills we can use Demonic Offering, gain some prayer experience, as well as some prayer points back as well. I'm actually more interested in the prayer points here to see how long I can extend a trip. Okay, so my first trip was 14 kills. That is incredibly good, although I think using the Arclight probably made a bigger difference than Demonic Offering, but you know what, still I'll take that. Okay, so now we're trying out probably the spell I was most excited to try at Cerberus, and that is Death Charge. Right now we're at 55 special attack, that just bumped us up to 70, and that's kind of a game changer. Essentially what that means is pretty much every kill you are able to dump a BGS spec into Cerberus, where previously that was not the case. Previously you'd be able to use a special attack every other kill or somewhere in between that. However, Death Charge changes that. It's very convenient because a Cerberus kill also takes a random minute, which means every kill you're getting an additional 15% special attack back on top of what you would have restored naturally. So this spell is incredibly strong at Cerberus and probably adds the most DPS overall, even though you're also able to use resurrected thralls and pretty much the entire spellbook here. Okay, so speaking of the entire spellbook, well, we pretty much brought it. Now, it does clutter up your inventory a bunch, unfortunately. We brought the Book of the Dead for the resurrected thralls. We brought nature runes and cosmic runes for one spell I actually haven't tried yet, and that is the Ward of Arceuus. As well as we brought runes for demonic offering, death's charge, and yeah, a few other things. So the Ward of Arceuus works specifically against demons and actually does reduce their damage by 10%. Now that said, this is a lot to remember. We have to use Death's Charge, we have to use the Ward of Arceuus, we have to keep our thralls up, we got to use our, oh my god, I got the wrong prayers on. We have to use our super combat potions, we got to put our spec weapon on, we actually have to watch out for the cerberus mechanics, so it might be a little too much to warrant all of this, but I mean, I'm just bringing this all for fun. Now, similar to most of the other spells, Ward of Arceuus will last a minute at 99 magic, and I'm already kind of getting overwhelmed here trying to keep everything up. Keep in mind, the 10% damage reduction doesn't work if you just plank the entire kill. Okay, so the trip went fairly poorly, and that was mainly because I was trying to balance using all the spells and all the other mechanics at the same time. Now, personally, the two spells I think I'd bring here more realistically are the Ward of Arceuus and Death's Charge. Demonic Offering is nice, however, the actual Infernal Ashes are worth quite a bit right now, 8,000 each, plus I am already 99 prayer anyway, and just being able to bring one additional prayer potion would easily make up the difference. Now, I am still kind of on the fence about the Ward of Arceuus. On paper, it sounds very good. I mean, a 10% damage reduction from demonic creatures, that would be Cerberus. I think it's probably worth using, however, you do have to sacrifice 2 inventory slots for that. And as Cerberus is quite a run from a bank, I'm not really sure if it's worth it. Cerberus and Abyssal Demon seem like some of these stronger locations. Clearly, killing Zamorak was another location that you could consider using the Arceuus spellbook at. However, ancient magics are just so good there, I don't think it would be worth bringing just for the Ward of Arceuus. So beyond that, the other main location I can think of where you might want to bring the Arceuus spellbook would actually be Zulcano. Zulcano does drop Infernal Ashes, which means you could theoretically get some passive prayer experience while you were there. Anyway guys, that is going to be it for my final coverage of the rest of the spells. I didn't cover the grass spells, however, that is more PvP oriented, and I'm sure someone who knows a bit more about PvP will cover it in a video. So overall, I'm actually very happy with the spellbook. I think they did a really good job balancing things. In certain circumstances, the new spellbook will probably be the best option. In other circumstances, it'll be kind of niche and some things aren't that good. However, overall, it is a massive improvement over the previous iteration of the Arceuus spellbook, and I think I'm going to get a fair bit of use out of it. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Wolf the Hunt, Colin Corley, Timothy Chen, Guy Fox, Ocelot, and Kush Patel for all being subscribed at the Dragon tier. As always, you guys are awesome. Also, a massive thank you to Hunter Durand, Lord Dojin, All Things Gaming, Yo-Yo Sub 89, Need My Pills, Birdbot, and Base Titch for all being subscribed at the Runite tier. Thank you guys so much. As always, if you guys are looking for another way to support the channel, becoming a YouTube member is an awesome way to do so. You can get access to my video release schedule, get immortalized in all of my future videos, and of course, get a custom role in my Discord server. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.